IBF title holder Michael Spinks escaped with a controversial win over Larry Holmes.
And there was a right hand by Holmes, and Spinks is in a world of trouble right now.
In July, WBA champion Tim Witherspoon traveled to London and crushed British challenger Frank Bruno.
10 seconds remaining, and Bruno is shook. And Bruno against the ropes in a corner is down.
In September, Michael Spinks retained his IBF title with a knockout of overmatched Stefan Tankstead.
Tankstead is just looking for a place to fall down.
In November, 20-year-old Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion ever by knocking out Trevor Berbick.
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Berbick is down. It's over. That's all, and we have a new era in boxing.
Then in December in New York City, Bone Crusher Smith destroyed WBA champion Tim Witherspoon.
Witherspoon's still in trouble. Down he goes again, and now it's over.
So, finally, we come to Las Vegas, Nevada to unify the WBA and WBC heavyweight titles tonight on HBO. Live from the Las Vegas Hilton in Las Vegas, Nevada, where first you'll see a 10-round heavyweight fight between Tyrell Biggs and David Bey, and then the main event. WBC heavyweight champion Mike Tyson meets WBA champion James Bone Crusher Smith. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. They've manufactured an outdoor stadium in the Hilton parking lot. Ticket prices start at $75, up to $750 for a seat at ringside. The last time there was an undisputed heavyweight champion, Muhammad Ali lost his title to Leon Spinks in one of the most shocking upsets in heavyweight history. That was way back in 1978. The site? Indoors at this very hotel. 9 years later, Mike Tyson and Bone Crusher Smith will enter the ring with the WBA and WBC heavyweight titles on the line. Hello, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, along with Larry Merchant. Sugar Ray Leonard, well, he's on special assignment. You know, it's a little bit like the Old West. There's a new fastest gun in town, and there's a whole bunch of guys just outside the door of the saloon waiting to take a shot at him. Tonight, the man who challenges Mike Tyson, as the old saying goes, wears a big hat and does have some cattle. Larry Merchant, it seems we've been talking about the unification of the heavyweight title for months here on HBO. Now it's actually a fact. There is no IBF champion now. Michael Spinks has lost that title, not in the ring, mind you. But this one, then, is for everything.
There'll only be one heavyweight champion after tonight, and what we're looking for tonight is a sort of a showdown in the KO corral. And I think the excitement generally here is because for the first time in many, many years, going way back to George Foreman and Joe Frazier, there are two sluggers fighting for the heavyweight championship. Everybody expects them to go out and slug each other until one of them, or maybe even both of them, falls down.
Well, before we get to Mike Tyson and Bone Crusher Smith, a fight between Tyrell Biggs and David Bey, a fight that suddenly takes on quite a lot of significance. Should Tyson win the fight, they are talking about making Biggs and Tyson.
That's right, Barry. We came here anticipating that this would be just another fight for Biggs on the ladder up toward someday a really, really giant showdown with, presumably, Mike Tyson. But it developed here during talks this week that Tyrell Biggs is indeed in line for Tyson's next title defense if Tyson wins tonight. And it's rather curious, I think, Barry, because everybody thought that from the point of view of a promotion that they would wait for a year and let Biggs build himself up, and from the point of view of Biggs himself that he needs more experience. But dollars talk, and they talk loudly, and that's what this one is about.
And the fact is, he not only has to win tonight, again, assuming Tyson wins, he has to win impressively.
Absolutely. He has to look good enough to sell that fight now.
Now, Tyrell Biggs has won all his fights, but significantly, Larry, he's only won 13, and there's always the rap. He just doesn't have enough experience.
Yeah, he's had an in and out kind of career. He had some problems with drugs very early on in his professional career. That kept him out of the ring. He came back, did some good things. Then he broke his collarbone in a fight. Then he was out for 5 months. Then he had some more fights. Then just last January, he had a car accident. So he's got to prove himself that he is capable of challenging for the title.
All right, there's the other half of this fight. David Bey, at one time we were talking about him as a shining hope in the heavyweight division.
Well, Larry Holmes took some of the shine off when he got to that level of competition. He's a good trial horse and should be a reasonably good test for Tyrell Biggs.
And this, of course, his last hurrah. You have to think he's only an opponent now. He really needs a big showing tonight, and that often makes a fighter hungry. Here's the way the tape looks, the tail of the tape. Biggs is 3 years younger than David Bey. David Bey is a little bit bigger, although David Bey looks pretty much in shape right now.
He's been as high as 290 pounds, so he's svelte at 239. And here is Punch Stat, our profile of the fighters through statistics. And there you see the number of punches that Tyrell Biggs generally throws against two pretty good opponents, Snipes and Tillis, around 60 around, landing a little bit more than half of them. David Bey doesn't throw quite as many punches. Now take a look at the jabs. Biggs has a big league jab. There you see the numbers on it.
And we will take a look at the rules for this fight. And the rules in Nevada State, 10-point must system is in effect. A mandatory 8 count, no standing 8 count here in Nevada. The save by the belt only in the last round, and the 3 knockdown rule will not be in effect in this contest. It will, however, be in effect for the next contest between Tyson and Smith. Right now, let's go to the ring announcer, Chuck Hull, for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the officials are signed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the next bout of the evening. The judges are Dave Moretti, Jerry Roth, and Bill Graham. Your referee is Richard Steele. The next bout of the evening featuring 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing 239 pounds, with a professional record of 15 wins, 4 defeats, 11 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing David Bey. And in the blue corner, also from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing in at 224 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career with 13 wins, no losses, 8 KOs. He was a gold medalist in the 23rd Olympiad in Los Angeles. He is now rated #1 in the world by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing heavyweight Tyrell Biggs.
All right, Big. David. Okay, I gave both fighters the instructions in the dressing room. I want to remind you to obey my commands at all times. I want a good, clean fight. Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
So a couple of fighters from Philadelphia, and you know the reputation of Philadelphia fighters. In fact, when we were talking to David Bey, he said, you know, when one Philadelphia fighter fights another fighter from Philadelphia, there's only one response, and that's, damn. You have to wonder if that's not what Tyrell Biggs is thinking tonight. You know Bey is going to go after him early.
Biggs just took off his robe, and the back of it was inscribed, "Realize your potential," which is the battle cry of drug rehabilitation. People from the clinic in California he attended, some 100 of them are here for this fight.
Tyrell Biggs comes off a victory against Ronaldo Snipes that he said really turned the corner for him.
A good left hand by Bey, in close. In the Snipes fight, Biggs fought flat-footed for the first time in his career for much of that fight. Question is if he's really strong enough to fight that way.
He says he's really gone to school on his stablemates, Holyfield and Whitaker, 2 other Olympic champions. And there was a big right hand by David Bey. Winging left.
Keep him up, keep him up. Keep him up, baby, keep him up.
You could hear Richard Steele telling David Bey to keep his punches up as Bey tries to go to the body. Bey, incidentally, does have a history of cutting. There was a good left hand by Bey. That was mostly on the gloves.
Keep him up, baby, keep him up.
Biggs is still fighting flat-footed. Still willing to test his strength against the bigger Bey.
I gotta get some goddamn room here, pal. Get the hell out of the way.
Now you.
Don't pull away. Don't pull away from the punches, right? Now listen. Jab him a little more. Jab him a little more, right? Now double up on your hooks, right?
Take a look at Bey and Biggs as they stay close, and there's a left that caught Biggs, but Biggs was moving away from the punch.
Hook and right hand, okay? But stop laying back waiting, babe. Okay. Gotta be busy, all right? Rinse. Okay.
Rinse.
Give him a rinse.
Get close, go to work. Punch short on the inside, right? Okay. Hands up good now, right?
Come on, let's go, baby. Come on, use that.
Okay, let's go.
And you heard David Bey's corner call him Bey, which is really his nickname. Big Bey from down the way, they used to call him. Tyrell Biggs' corner, they're telling him to stick that jab a little bit more.
Biggs has a wonderful jab, and he doesn't seem to be using it that much. He just tripled up on it, shot it again.
Bey does have a tendency to drop that left hand, doesn't he?
Biggs is now administering an old-fashioned Philadelphia paint job with that left hand on Bey.
Keep him up, baby. Keep him up.
Good short right hand by Bey.
Bey obviously trying to stay in real close where he can do some damage with that right hand. And the jab is very effective now.
you got is an old-fashioned Philadelphia gym war right out here in front of 14,000 people.
These two, incidentally, saw each other way back in 1979 in the gyms in Philadelphia.
Blew that round, Babe. You lost that round. You've got to start throwing more punches. Take a breath. You've got to move your hands. You're getting hit because you're not punching. You're laying back there.
Here's Bey trying to get in close and succeeding with a right hand that landed not at a vulnerable point, but right on the jaw. And now Biggs asserts his dominance in the late part of the round. Biggs built like a big thoroughbred. There's a first here for me, Barry. The first time I've seen a heavyweight wearing beige trunks.
It's true.
Can't wait till he fights Pinklon Thomas with his pink trunks.
Looks like they might have just faded. A little swelling under the left eye of David Bey.
Come on, punch it out, punch it out.
That was short. You could hear Tyrell Biggs' corner telling him to snap that jab.
There's a lot at stake here for Tyrell Biggs. His purse in this fight is about $200,000, but should he win it and look impressive, and should Tyson beat Smith in the next fight, there could be millions and millions at stake.
And the key words there are look impressive, I think. Bey caught Biggs again with a right hand, and Biggs having trouble getting off the ropes.
Biggs insists on going toe-to-toe with the bigger Bey, and he hasn't got the best of it.
Work to get out, work to get out.
It's the third round at a rather slow pace right now.
Watch your head.
Biggs should be punching to the Bey's soft underbelly. He may be looking for openings there, but he's not finding them right now.
Watch your head, watch your head.
Richard Steele telling the fighters to watch their heads here because they are close to a butt.
Break.
Well, we'll remind you, of course, that coming up, we'll call it a unification, at least WBA, WBC. All the heavyweight titles there are right now. Mike Tyson and Bone Crusher Smith. That's coming up following this fight. And meanwhile, a little bit earlier, in the locker room of Mike Tyson, listen to the instructions from the referee, Mills Lane.
So you get in the ring and loosen up and all that. I know what told Mr. Smith. You guys, if you mind yourself, Mr. Tyson can mind himself. Now, when you get to the center of the ring, all I'm...
It's as though Tyrell Biggs was content to almost take a rest in that third round. See if he's not any more active in this round. Was not as strong as it appeared. That one was a little better. And there's a serious combination by Bey. Biggs is cut inside the mouth.
Come on, work it, get out of here.
Biggs is an 8 or 9 to 1 favorite in this fight. Doesn't look it right now.
Bey continuing to pounce on Biggs. And it's Biggs fighting Bey's fight.
I have no idea why Biggs isn't trying to stand outside and use that outstanding jab of his.
And again, a combination by David Bey. And he has a cut, serious cut. That is over the left eye. That's a very serious cut.
And just as I said that he should be standing outside, by staying inside, he got cut. And that is a bad cut, and that's what can happen when you stay inside.
And that was not the result of a butt, and now David Bey just tries to take advantage.
The job of Biggs now isn't to look good, it's just to survive. Now he gets on his balls of his feet and starts moving.
A lot of blood coming from that cut. Gonna put a lot of pressure on the corner. Left hand by Bey.
Hard right hand by Biggs. But it doesn't budge Bey.
Biggs has clearly picked up the tempo since he was cut. But fear, of course, one of the great motivators.
Well, there's desperation now just in his fight early last year where he broke a collarbone in the second round and gutted it out and won with his left hand. They're going to have to patch him up between rounds, and he's going to have to stay away from Bey.
Tough on the top.
That's all right, Doc. Give us a shot. Come on, we put the 18 in there.
Let me get the pressure on that.
Listen,
Let me get the 18 in there.
This guy's easy. Doc, give us this guy's easy as pop. You see how you're sticking to the stand. Now go out to this round, please.
I got it.
Don't be cute. Just be sticking to the stand like you was just doing.
I didn't hear any conversation between the doctor and Richard Steele, the referee.
Well, Lou Duva sort of protected Biggs and tried to stand between him and the doctor. But I'm sure if it opens up here and if Biggs isn't doing any better, the doctor will take a closer look between rounds.
There's no real panic in the corner of Tyrell Biggs. And no real go out there and get him strategy. It was just sort of do what you're doing.
Keep him up, David.
The eye has started to trickle again.
And as you see, a long way to go in round 5. Bey seems to be a little more patient this time and is now sort of starting to fight Biggs' fight, staying away from him, not trying to press the fight inside. That uppercut by Bey and a right hand.
Biggs just can't put a dent in David Bey. He can't hold him off. His punches are just not doing the job. He isn't a strong man. It's as simple as that. So you wonder why they have him in such a flat-footed style trying to exchange punches.
And when we talked to David Bey, he said if he stands flat-footed, we're going to go home early. And that cut, of course, in a position where it really does affect the eyesight of Tyrell Biggs.
Get out, Biggs. Biggs.
It's all right. It's coming along good. Okay, now listen, Biggs.
Give me that water.
Biggs.
We're going to take a look at that punch that caused that again from the previous round. This is the previous round. You can see that last right hand and the blood trickling down moments later.
Please use the jab.
A punch.
This guy's nothing. It's very ordinary.
Is the smell of a lost cause here.
Interestingly enough, the doctor did not appear in Biggs' corner between rounds. And that's the kind of cut, Larry, you've been around this sport a lot longer than I have, but if it weren't Tyrell Biggs, you have an idea that this fight might have been stopped.
Very well might. It hasn't, the blood has trickled down the side of his face, Barry, so it hasn't gone into the eye and doesn't seem to be bothering him in that fashion.
Bey, interestingly enough, didn't really work on the cut too much the last round. He is more so in this round.
Step back.
You wonder if it's having a psychological toll on Biggs because he's just not fighting a smart fight.
But nor was he before the cut. Long right hand by David Bey and another right hand. And Bey now keeps Biggs on the ropes. Now Biggs gets off.
I can't help but think of how Larry Holmes dealt with Bey because Biggs has similar equipment, and Larry Holmes just stood outside, popped him, established the jab, had a mindful of the jab, and finally nailed it. There's two good right hands, and Biggs may have hurt him.
He definitely slowed him down, and now Bey is about to go. And Biggs was in for the kill, and Bey is down. Just like that.
Just as Biggs started to throw his jab, it opened up for him. We've been saying all along, where was the jab?
Biggs tries to finish it off. Bey is just standing in the middle of the ring, trying to cover up and survive. And he's still got 45 seconds to do that, and I don't think he's going to do it. Richard Steele steps in and stops the fight. There's one of the great comebacks.
A gutty performance again when he was under duress by Tyrell Biggs. You can't help but remember how early in his career people thought he just didn't have the gumption for this game, only the skills. But once again, he's demonstrated a knack for pulling it out when he had to.
Yeah, he just fight better when there's a need to fight better. So a stunning knockout. And that cut looked for all the world like it was going to cost Tyrell Biggs any chance whatsoever of a go with Mike Tyson. Again, of course, should Tyson beat Bone Crusher Smith, that fight coming up. Let's take another look at those two right hands. There's the first one. It was a big right hand. Now he straightens up once again. There's a left jab to set up the right hand, and there is the one that really did it. You can see Bey just literally get stopped in his tracks. Now watch Biggs again. Not wasting punches. Bey is about to go, and the right hand, an uppercut, and a right hand behind that. Bey is down. One more for good measure. And for all intent, the fight was over at this point.
2 minutes, 18 seconds of the 6th round. The winner by a TKO and still undefeated, Tyrell Biggs.
So I like to say that when I went back to the corner, you know, I got confidence in my cut people with Joe Ferrioli and Lou and them, and when I came back, I just asked them how it was, and they said it was all right, they can handle it. So what I'm supposed to do is get that out of my mind. I'm bleeding, that's one thing, but as long as I can keep fighting, you know, I got a chance.
Did you think it was bad? You saw a lot of blood on you. I haven't seen that blood on you, and I don't know if you've seen that kind of blood of you in your career. Have you?
Well, no, not visually. I've been bleeding all the time. I'm still bleeding, to tell you the truth. But I wasn't worried about that. As long as when the doctor and the referee came in to the corner in between rounds and looked at it, and it was okay for me to go out there, you know, I still got a chance to win this fight. And that's the attitude that I had. And I don't know, this all, I just give this credit to believing in God and doing the things that I know I can do. That's why I got realize your potential.
All right, Tyrell.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, just between, I didn't say anything, but I'm always fighting in pain. I'm so blessed with talent, God-given talent. It's a shame. But my left hand has been bothering me a little. But I know if I tape it up real good, I knew I can go ahead and fight with it. I didn't want to call it off because the importance of this fight. And I'm just getting down to it. And earlier when I hit through the jab, it was hurting me just a little. So I thought I'd give it a little rest in between. And when it was able for me to start firing it again, then that's what I'll do.
That jab, is your left hand hurt from the time you had an automobile accident in January?
Yeah, it's still something that springs up from when I sprained it.
All right, you said you knew the importance of the fight.
Right.
Do you think you're ready to fight Mike Tyson if he beats Bone Crusher in the next fight?
That's right. I was waiting to the outcome of this fight, and now that I've proven myself and won this fight, I should be the next person to fight Tyson, and Tyson could come on and knock me out if he won, but I'm ready to fight him.
Thank you very much.
Don't impress me that much. I like to tell Darryl Warwick to keep pushing because he had a problem, and I want to say for Darryl that my heart is with him and I'm praying for him.
Okay, Tyrell. Now back to Barry.
Stars out tonight. Yes.